Folks, Simon Brown here. As you're coming in, if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, if we get yays to both, if you could raise your hand in the Zoom app so we know that we are winning. Brilliant, hands coming. We are in business. Quick bit of housekeeping for this evening. Njabulo and I, truthfully more Njabulo, but talking around what do we do with, where do we take follow the trader? And I'm not talking around shutting it down, but do we increase frequency? Do we make it more exclusive? Do we make it paid, etc.? First thought, if you've got ideas, if you've got thoughts, if you've got comments, just hit reply to the email reminder that comes for the webcast, and give us your 5 cents or $5 or $50, depending on how valuable you think your thoughts are. We would appreciate them. And then I've got a poll which I'll pop up just as Njabulo comes on. I'm just going to wait because obviously some folks are coming in a bit later, coming in a bit earlier. Let's go through my trades. I'm still only sitting in one trade, and this is from 7 June. So we're running a month and a week at this point on it. Nasdaq running and running very, very strongly on it, doing quite nicely. Key point is what matters. $350 in profit. My average losing trade, and that's excluding swaps. So my cost of the overnight carries cost me $13.60, but I'm ignoring that. At this point, call it $350 in profit. My average losing trade has been, remember, when I enter a trade, I risk $40. And depending how that plays, I might get hit for 40. Because of my stop, sometimes I actually get hit by more. What I mean by that is I exit on a close below the 21 EMA rather than just a touch off. So it's a $40, but it can be. I think when I got stopped on one of them, it was more than that. But obviously they run sometimes and your stop moves up behind it. So my average loss is about $30. And what I'm sitting in here, let's call it 350. I mean, essentially I've got 12 losing trades in one profitable trade. And that's exactly what trend following is. Lots of tiny losses, $30 here, $20, $45, whatever. So it goes, dollars, losing dollars. And then you hit, you get long of NASDAQ and suddenly it just pays back in spades plus more. And that's exactly the trend trading. It's tough when you're taking all of those small losses. They hurt, absolutely they do. But then the winners come. I mean, eventually you catch that trend. Let's go look at some charts. Unfortunately, I got kicked out of this one, which was the S&P 500. I got solidly booted out of it, but not solidly booted out enough to get a rebuy. So I'm only sitting in the NASDAQ at the moment. And that's fine. Would I like to be in both? Sure. But at least I've got, the two strongest indices in the world right now, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100. I'm long of them. I'm comfortable with that. Nikkei 225, let's quickly run through some of the charts. As I said, I'm not doing shorts. This is looking like it's coming for a buy. I struggle with times on Nikkei 225 because they've got strange times, but I've sorted that problem out. So we see the weird thing, this is just such a volatile index. I update it every morning on my MoneyWeb Now show. And the number of times it's moving, 1.5%, 2.5% in one or the other direction is frankly quite staggering. But nonetheless, there it is. Germany, I don't trade at all. I trade the main European index rather than the sub indices. But Germany looking decent there. ZAR 40, I don't trade, but there. And let me pull that up and check that there. Did that give us? Did it drop below? No, it just. No, so that didn't, that is today is the confirming candle. Am I right on that?
It triggered yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was
so
the
today
trigger.
Is a confirmation.
So, yeah, so today is the confirming. I'm not trading the ZAR 40 in this because I'm in dollars and I got currency switches, etc. But top 40 is saying buy me today. And a bunch of you will be looking out in the streets of KZN and Joburg and be thinking, what the markets are not economies and politics, etc. Markets do their own beast. We're technical traders. We trade the chart. UK, been flatlined now. Where are we going back to? Sort of mid-June, no, early June, pretty much going nowhere. Wants us to buy, can't confirm. Now it wants us to sell. We'll wait for it to get some direction one way or the other. This is Eurostoxx 50, which is my European index that I trade. Instead of those sub-indices, Germany, Spain, France, etc., I just trade the Eurostoxx 50. And if we get another green day or two, we should be getting a trigger on that. ASX, which I'm not trading, would have us long. It actually would have us long. Would have had a stop out, so we wouldn't be anywhere there. China is actually falling over a bit. Remember, I was long of this, and then I got stopped, I suppose, at that point there. And now China's been falling down a bit. France, messy, if nothing else. Hong Kong 50, also short. Asia's not having a fun time with all the crackdowns coming out of the China Cyber Security Administration Authority. Spain, Spain looking quite ugly. US 2000, so this is the mid and small cap. And what's interesting here, let's zoom out a bit more on this one, is that we've got S&P all-time highs, NASDAQ all-time highs, Dow Jones all-time highs, Russell not following through, which means we're not seeing massive breadth in the market. Those all-time highs are being driven by a couple of the large cap stocks within each of the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500. That's anecdotal. You get the trigger, you trade it, but it is saying that the follow-through from the smaller and mid-cap stocks is simply not happening. And we see that clearly on this chart, which has been range-bound since beginning of Feb, pretty much going nowhere and not making new highs. The highs on this index was back in mid-March. Some currencies. At this point, I'm not trading the currencies, but I'll add to the capital and start to trade to those. This 721 works. It loves currency. So there was your short candle. There was your short where you would have gone short at about 120. Now we're 118 and change. Sterling against US dollar. There would have been your short, so you're slightly in profit. And then dollar yen. At this point, it is just today triggering a short. Yesterday it said go long, couldn't confirm. Today going short. And it gets messy at these points here. And I've talked about it before. When things go sideways, they just get deeply, deeply messy. That's just how it rolls. The ZAR.
Quick question, Desai. Do you mind the correlation between USD, Euro USD and pound USD?
Yeah, I do. So I don't trade sterling. I trade euro and I trade yen against USD. A lot of folks will trade them. And I mean, if we just eyeball the chart, sort of up and then down, and then take the sterling, fairly much the same. More volatility in sterling, which is where I typically. So the two crosses that I trade is euro USD and then the dollar yen. Those are my preferred currency pairs. I don't trade any minors, so I don't trade the dollar ZAR, which has been running quite nicely. There would have been your entry at about 14.30. You're at 46, so you're 13 cents in, although we've seen a fair bit of a comeback today. I don't trade the miners because of the volatility. The best thing to trade, I mean, this Euro USD is just a beaut to trade. It's great liquidity. It's not too volatile. That big candle there is a rare event. And even that big candle's from what, 21.1 down to 19.9. So it's 1.2. I mean, it's a big move, but that's about as big as you see there. So as I say, for now, just that one trade, NASDAQ going along lovely. We've got our stop loss, which is the red line there, which is at 14.50.50. Let's call it. There's about, which is nicely in profit as well. And we'll just let it run and see how high it wants to go. I'm not one to turn around and tell a market to stop going higher. But I'll park that there. I'll hand over to Njabulo to go through some of his trades.
Cool. Look, that USD looks like a nice head and shoulders breakout there, especially from yesterday.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays. It does inverse head and shoulders. What's that going to take it? Although it might already have hit the target on that. No, it's still got some way to go. Obviously, concerns around the writing that's happening in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. The question is, that will abate, but what will the market response be? And particularly, the currency, in a sense, in the short term, is kind of a vote on your on your country.
Yeah, especially with the minor currencies.
Yeah, 100%. Cool, Njabulo, all yours.
So I got stopped My second biggest trade got stopped out today at quite a chunky profit at about 21%. The 21, we'll just quickly. Yeah, at about 21%, profit there. And I also got stopped on APSA. That looks like it was a false break. Let's see if we can hold that 50-period exponential moving average again. If we can get through above the close of that doji, I'll jump back into the trade with a stop loss. Just below that low of the swing low there, wherever that ends up. Perhaps we could see it come back to touch that the 200-period exponential moving average. Also got stopped on PEP Core with a decent profit at about 7% odd. So I'll jump back in the trade once we can get above that 20.90 level. Looks like today it held that support there, holding the 50-period exponential moving average. I had my stop just below, those lows of that range there, and I got triggered yesterday with that candle there. And I also got stopped on, took a small loss on Bidvest. My stop was just below the candle there, and I got stopped yesterday. With a close back above 191, I'll jump back into the trade with a stop loss at 187.97. If it gets triggered between now and then, that low will be my next stop loss. I also got stopped on First Rand. Looks like that was a false break as well. I did add to the position and trail my stop to just below that low, and I got tagged there. Perhaps I was a little bit too aggressive on that stop. So if we can get back above 40, what's that close there? 54.13. If we can get back above 54.13, I'll jump back into the trade with a stop loss just below that low there, around that 50. I mean, around that 200-period exponential moving average. Imperial announced a delisting offer, so I took profits because I wasn't 100% sure how to handle that, and if they put a ceiling on how far that stock could go, I'd rather be out and monitor the situation from the sidelines, because they're taking away my biggest edge there. Balo still battling with that 50-day exponential moving average. So if we can get back above 107, I think I did cover these last week, but if we can get back above 107, I'll jump back into the trade. So new position I did. Let's look at my open positions. I took I got into African Rainbow. I was waiting for a close through that 267 level. Initially, I wanted it above 266, but in fact, rather above the 262, and we got it. But that close high there felt like a more significant resistance. So I would rather wait for that one. So with the close above that, nice head and shoulders pattern breakout there, looking fairly good. So I'll add to the position on close above 290 and 303. If we can get through 303, that would be a new all-time high close, and the sky is the limit on new highs. Well, typically that is. Implats was holding that 200-day exponential moving average quite well. So I wanted to break through that, and we got it there. Initially, I missed the trade, and then I got in the very next day with a close above that 50-day exponential moving average. In fact, I didn't miss it. I said to myself, if we can get through 50-day exponential moving average, I'll jump back in. I'll jump into the position. So my stop came bitterly close to being stopped out a few days ago. It's just below that 200-day exponential moving average, but so far we're good. So if we can get through 1823, I'll look to add again to the position with a stop loss just below that 50-period exponential moving average on Implats. I got into AB and BEV this morning. So as you can see, we had a nice head and shoulders pattern, a nice broad head and shoulders pattern, but the stock subsequently collapsed, but held that 200-day exponential moving average. So as it break back above that 1014 support, I took the trade with a stop loss just below the 200 period exponential moving average. Nice tight stop there. But if we can get through that head and the neckline of that head and shoulders pattern, I'll be adding to the position on AB and BIV. Aspen looking good. Nice bullish engulfing candle there. Looks like that's 170. Looks like it was actually just testing the prior support, prior resistance there at 167, looking quite good. Nice bullish engulfing candle jumping back. Just move that there, jumping back into the higher box. So if we can get through 177, if I can zoom back a little bit, which will the last green close, the highest last green close from back in. What was this? I believe it was 2019. From back in 2018. So if we can get through this, that 177 level, I'll add to the position again and trail my stop behind me. Let me just zoom out. Yeah, if I can get through that 177.21 level, I'll add to the position with a stop loss around that 163 level there, which would be close to break even on the first trade. Astral Food holding that 50-day exponential moving average. I'm not 100% sure how badly they would be impacted with the situation currently happening in the country, but if we can get back above that 159 level, I'll add to the position and trail my stop to just below those lows there around that 50-day exponential moving average on Astral Food. BHP looking good. It looked like it was going to trigger me to add to the position, but found some sellers there. So if you can get through, what's that level? If you can get a close above 458.08, I'll add to the position with a stop loss around that 338 level, unless the market gives me a much better place to place a stop. And again, when we get through and 492, I'll add again to the position. Bitcop looks like it was testing that resistance level again. Looks like it's holding it. So yeah, working fairly good. So for Bitcop, I want to close through 394 to add to the position, but perhaps if we can close back above the 331 level, I could add to the position and adjust my stop slightly, but I'll see how the market takes care of itself between now and then. But for now, that's I believe it was 350 or something like that. I'll check it again. I'll be adding to my position around that 350 level. Richmond looking quite good. I added to the position today, trailed my stop. I was waiting for a close through that 177 and some change. Pull my stop to around that 170.55 level. Looking fairly good. Let me just quickly do that. I need to, it looks like I'll be adding to the position quite soon. If we can get through into a higher box, into a higher box there above 158.77, I'll add to the position and trail my stop behind me there. Clicks looking quite good. Nice bullish engulfing candle today as it approaches that 50 period exponential moving average. So if we can get through 263, I'll add to the position with a stop loss just below that 50-day exponential moving average, just below those lows there. And again, above 277, I'll add to the position. And this can change very, very quickly with what's happening in the country. But then, stock market, like someone said, is not the economy. Coronation, it broke back above that 49 rand level that I was waiting for. It was waiting for a close above that 49. So looking fairly good. Battling with that 50-period exponential moving average, but as long as it's holding the 200-day, still good. If you can get through that 50 rand and some change, I'll add to the position. If we can get back above that that 50-day exponential moving average with a stop loss a little bit higher around that 48 rand, just below the 200-day exponential moving average. This cam holding that support around 31 rand quite well with a nice bullish engulfing candle there. So if we can get through that 32 rand high there, looking quite good. I won't be adding to the position because that last entry was a 2% entry, which triggered that sliding scale of my position sizing. So now I want my stop loss to be above that last entry. However, I did take quite a bit of profit, so that number has changed because that 10% plus profit is always relevant to the current balance. So if that number has changed, that rule resets as well. So yeah, but I'll look. I want to enter above that 32 rand 53 level. This cam also looking quite good. I'm still holding this cam. So if you can get through that 172 level, I'll trail my stop to 162. Similarly, I took a 5% position on a distal on that last trade there, and that was because of that sliding scale. So because of that, I'll only be entering into a new position when my stop loss is above that last entry around 172. So if I can get my stop above 172, I'll add another 5% risk on distal. Exara also looking good, managing the remember the dividend, the giant dividend correction there. Stock now holding quite strongly above that 50-period exponential moving average. So if we can get through that 183, we did touch it today, but close below it with a doji there signaling that we could see perhaps the market pulling back to what you can see. There you go. Perhaps the market pulling back to that 175, 170 level, holding that as support before breaking back above that 183 and some change level. Perhaps it close above 184. That'd be very good. I'll pull my stop to above 170.55 and add to the position, because at that point, when my stop is above, when my stop at around that 172 level, that risk is now below 1%. Then I could add again to this Exara position. So we had initial breakouts of the symmetrical triangle pattern, but there was an obvious higher close, just close by about 2 rands higher. So I wanted to close through that 163 rand first. The stock subsequently came back to test that support of the symmetrical triangle pattern. So if you can get through 165, I'll add to the position with a stop loss exactly where it is. Sitting in a fairly decent profit on this position, about 4 or 5% on this trade. Glencore looking quite good. Looked like it was breaking through that 64 rand. Let me see if it actually did. I wanted to close above 64.83. It did by 3 cents. So I'll just wait for a higher close. So if you can get a green close tomorrow above 64.86, I'll add to the position and trail my stop to around that 60 rand level. Unsurprisingly, growth point got hit. quite severely with the strikes happening, but holding that 50-day exponential moving average, closing below it today. I am anticipating being stopped out of this position. But if we do, I'll wait for a close back above that 15 Rand. If I'm not above 15.74, I'll add to the position and show my stop behind me. Impala looking good. So I did pull my stop just before we got into, it was initially below that head. It looks like a head and shoulders or triple bottom there. So, just before we got on, I moved it to 228. So I'll add to the position, to move back to 1% risk. I'll add a small position on this trade with a stop loss there at 261 tomorrow at the open. And then if we, okay, let's try that. That's fine. So now if we can get through to 270, I'll add again to the position. So tomorrow I'll add, and then again above 270, I'll add again to this trade. And again, if we can get through that 293, I'll add again to this position. Investec looking, holding that 50-day exponential moving average, looking fairly well. If we can get through that 50 Rand, 58 Rand, I'll add to the position, trail my stop ever so slightly below that 50-day exponential moving average around that 52 Rand on Investec. Kumba has been moving quite strongly, so I will add to this position tomorrow at the open. Let me just quickly trail the stop to what is it? 654.84. I'll adjust it properly tomorrow. So I'll add to the position with a stop loss just below the doji there. I believe this is an all-time high, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll add to the position with a stop loss there at 655. Life Healthcare holding that 50-day exponential moving average quite nicely. So if we can get through the 23 Rand 44, I'll add to the position with a stop loss just below that 50-day exponential moving average. Just below that 50-day exponential moving average. If we can get through that 23.44 level, I'll add to the position. And again, if we can get through 25.77, I'll add again to the position. What's happening with my mouse now? So we had a nice breakout, bullish flag breakout on momentum. So if we could get through 20 Rand 40, I'll add to the position and trail my stop behind me, perhaps just below that 50-period exponential moving average. Mondi still hold, so it broke through that 395 and stayed above it to today. So yeah, moving quite nicely. So I'll be drawing my boxes to see where I'll be entering next on Monday. MTN looking quite good, holding that 50-day exponential moving average. So if we can get through 108, I'll add to the position with a stop loss at around that 101.44 level. I did add yesterday to the position after the broke out there. Yeah, after we broke out there, I did add to the position. So if we can get through 108, I'll add to the position with a stop loss there at 101.44. Nedbank also holding that 50-day exponential moving average, came quite close to stopping me out. Let's see if we can jump, get back into that range. If we can close back above it. In fact, it did close above the support. So yeah, let's see if we can get through 177. If we can get through 177, I'll add to the position and throw my stop behind me. Napier Rock also looks like there's quite a bit of selling happening there at around that 105.90. So if we can get through that bit of selling there, I'll add to my position and throw my stop to that 100 Rand 90 level on Napier Rock. Northern looking good. I want to close through 240. If we can get it close through that 240 level, I'll add to the position and throw my stop perhaps to just below that 50-day exponential moving average. Let's see how the market behaves between now and then. Royal Bafokeng seems to be leading the PGM recovery, holding that 50-day exponential moving average quite nicely. So if we can get through that 118 level, I'll add to my position again and throw my stop behind me. And I'll look for a nice good place to stop between now and then. Remgro, I was waiting for a breakthrough above that candle there. We got it with that one, but by a small margin. Yeah, the stock subsequently broke below the, looks like that battle between the stock and the 50-day exponential moving average isn't over yet. Came quite close to stopping me out, today, but, holding quite nicely. So if you can get through, what is it? Maybe 161. That'd be great. I won't add to the position. I'll just be more comfortable. But if we can get through 130, 123, I'll definitely add to the position at that point. SAPI also moving quite nicely. So if you can get above that 45.30, I'll add to the position with a stop loss about just below that 50-period exponential moving average around that 41 Rand level. And again, if we again above 47 and above 50, I'll be adding to my position at those levels there. ShopRite, nice cup and handle formation there on ShopRite. Stock holding that 50-day exponential moving average. And my pre-stop has been triggered, so that low is now my new stop. So if you can get through 162, I'll add to the position with a stop loss around that 151.44 level. Standard Bank, looks like it was a false break, but today breaking through and holding above both 200-day and the 50-day exponential moving average. Let's see if we can move back into that range on Standard Bank. If we can get through 139, I'll definitely add to the position and throw my stop behind me. Telkom looking fairly decent, battling with that 50-period exponential moving average. But if we can get through 46 and again 48, I'll be adding to my position at those levels. So above 43, 46, I'll add to the position with a stop loss at 42. And above 48, I'll add again to my position. Truworths. Looking pretty good, bouncing back into the higher box. So above 63 Rand and some change, I'll be adding to my position unless I get another nice entry there on the higher box where I could reasonably put my stop just below that low, that swing low there. on Truworths, but ultimately, if I want to close above that 63 rand and some change on Truworths. Lastly is Woolies. Also holding that 50-day exponential moving average. So I'm waiting for a close through that 55 rand 75 level. So if you can get through that level, I'll add to my position with a stop loss just below that swing low there, about around that 51 rand and some change. That was the last of it. I'm not sure if there's a question popping in the Q&A box.
I'm not seeing questions. No questions coming, no chats coming. Cool, shall we park it there then?
Yeah, if there's no more question or chat request, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Njabulo, thanks very much, ladies and gents. Appreciate time, everyone. We'll be back again next week, same place, same time. As I said, if you got thoughts, ideas, what you would like to see or not like to see with this Follow the Trader, drop me a mail, simon@justonelap.com, or just reply to the reminder email that came through at 4:30 this afternoon with your thoughts and ideas. We're keen to see what we can do with this. Anyway, everyone have a good evening further. Stay safe, stay warm, and look after yourself. Cheers all.
Cheers, everyone.